I'm Stephanie Alvarez. I'm an associate professor of Mexican American Studies. I'm also the director of the Center for Mexican American Studies, and this is my 13th year at the University of Texas Rio Grande Valley. Teaching to me is a privilege, and it allows me to be in a very unique position because as growing up myself, I know that I was never really allowed to intellectualize my own position in society. And so for me, teaching is something that I take pretty seriously in the sense that for me, it's about providing my students the opportunity to really delve deeply into their own experiences, their families' experiences, and their community's experiences, to understand their position in society and understand and intellectualize those experiences in order to make positive impacts in their own lives and in the lives of their families and in society in general. And so I'm very passionate about teaching because for most students, it's the first time that they really get that opportunity, given the fact that the majority of our students are Mexican Americans. And throughout their schooling, they just never have that opportunity until they come to the university and happen to take a Mexican American Studies course or in the course of someone else who understands that responsibility that comes along with teaching Mexican American and Latino students. And so teaching is important to me because I feel that we really have that responsibility to have students explore their lived experiences in order to make a positive impact in society. Some of my favorite teaching strategies are community engagement and the testimonial. The testimonial is really critical because students really need to understand who they are first before delving into important research questions or even delving into the material that they're going to study. Because it's only when we have a beginning to understanding who we are that we can really apply, understanding the material we're working with. And it's only when we really have a good understanding of who we are that we can really start, searching for those research questions that are deeply meaningful to us. And so, for example, when I teach the research methods course, we start off with our testimonials because we want to see what research do we want to do? What are we passionate about and why? And so I will use the testimonial to guide students into finding what is it that they want to research. And another one is community engagement. And community engagement can have lots of meanings. Most people will think immediately of service learning, but it doesn't have to necessarily be service learning. It can have multiple meanings. Because I think that the learning for students is ultimately meaningful when they understand how it is that it is applicable to their own communities and see, how can this help communities? How can it transform communities? Or how has it affected communities in the past in order to have a better understanding of how can this be of benefit to communities in the future or even in the present. And I think that those two tools, especially when they're combined, can be very transformative for both students, communities, and especially families. And oftentimes what I found is that when you combine the two, the students will involve their own families in the learning process. And then that transforms into very meaningful learning for everybody involved.